Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-da-ba-bum. Greetings. Thanks for coming out. Sit down, take some weight off, and enjoy yourself. Welcome to Big Bacon's Bunker. I'm your host, and the real star of the show, the Bunker. Today, sadly, we're going to be looking at the Star Wars Black Series 2023 bottom of the barrel. Now, unlike most people, my 2023 list do not include just figures released in 2023. My list includes figures that I actually take out, put in front of a camera, and review in 2023. So, yeah, there are some brand new ones, and there are some that have been out for a while. And as much as we all wish it were true, not every figure could be a banger. Some, because it's just the design of the character, the figure is impossible to pull off properly, and then some shouldn't have been made in the first place. Some have massive QC issues, and as such, yeah, there are some on this list that probably going to piss some people off, but they're on my list because I have my reasons. So, without any further ado, what do you say we get into it? So, coming in at our number 10 spot this year, we have the Star Wars Rebels Galaxy packaged Sabine Wren. Now, yes, I'm sure this is going to be one that's going to get me some hell. The need for this figure was absolute. The look of this figure, as you see her now, is perfectly fine. The update that came with the Galaxy packaging was much needed, but for me, this one all boils down to quality control. I'm sorry. When you're waiting and searching as hard and as long as I was for this figure, and paying as much as I did for this figure, yeah, first off, the helmet is a pain in the left butt cheek to get on or off. And that always makes me feel like I'm going to rip the paint off to begin with. But in this case, I'm okay with that because the eyes on this are just terribly placed. And when you've got a QC issue like that, it really takes away from everything else with the figure. I mean, that right eye, you could see where the eye should be next to the eye. It's too far in, it's angled down over the bottom of the lid. I mean, it's bad. So this is why A, she's always going to be wearing her helmet on my shelf, and B, why she is number 10 on my bottom of the barrel 2023. Next up at our number 9 spot, we have the non-gaming greats Jango Fett. Yes, this is another one that just absolutely kills me to have on this list. But the sculpt on this, not even the sculpt, the engineering on this is just awful. They've made him short, stout, tiny torsoed, fat boy, with just some of the worst paint I've ever seen. So we look at the silver here on the chest armor, if I can get it to zoom. Stop zooming in and out. And you can see just a whole bunch of base color shining through it. And it's true everywhere. The paint is horrific. His torso should have been longer, so it's short, it's wide. It's just not good. And then on top of that, because it isn't the photoreal one, the face is just kind of, oh dear God, what the hell's going on? Another one that will never have his helmet off while he's on the shelf. And in fact, one that, given the opportunity to replace him with the Gaming Greats one, will be out the door. So that's why Jango Fett is number 9. Coming in at the number 8 position, we have from Rogue One, the Target exclusive Galen Erso. This is the second time Mads Mikkelsen has been in a list this year. If you watch the other lines, you know he appeared on that top 10. And this one he's on, and not for good reason. First off, the generic Imperial body, I'm perfectly fine with that. The face sculpt, and maybe it's just the way it's painted, it does not look like Mads Mikkelsen. It's heavily shiny. And then, for some reason, probably because of the way the ankles are built, I can't get him to stand worth a damn. So I've had to attach him to a stand to keep him upright. So, Galen sits at the number 8 spot. At the number 7 position, we have the 501st Archive Trooper. I want to love this figure, but this is an older, much more antiquated clone body. And as such, the limitations on it, particularly for articulation, is just, yeah, it's not good. The paint, the sculpt are not terrible. But his inability to hold his rifle like that without bending it, that's a big bad thing. Bad thing. The tiny little shoulder pads. They attempted to weather this guy, and it just looks like somebody flung a bag of poo at him. That's, yeah. Number 7, 501st Archive. Coming in at number 6 this year is the Ceremony Leia Archive figure. Look, I want to like this figure. As far as the head and face goes, it is miles better than the original release was. The addition of the photoreal was much needed on this figure. But what really kills it, what just completely destroys this thing's ability to score higher, is this combination of soft good plastic. The plastic top torso looks fine. The bottom skirting is so lightweight you can actually see through it. And then they've got a third completely different material, soft goods, for the sleeves, the hang down, and looking at them together, it looks weird. It is strange. Like I said, that face is so much better than the old one. But the combination of these three materials just doesn't work. And like I said, see-through. Carrie Fisher does not belong on the bottom 10, but unfortunately, that's where she ended up this year. And in the number 5 spot, we have Tika from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, this is a nice Jawa. Nice looking Jawa. The replacement of the soft goods with the harder plastic, I'm perfectly fine with, because the soft goods tend to just fray when you do that. Well, that frayed cloth look. You just end up shredding and shedding pieces of it all over the place. This is well sculpted, well painted. My point with this is Tika bore no impact in the story. He was in one scene, briefly, and that was it. So the fact that they wasted a figure spot to make this just completely blows my mind. And not only did they make it, but they made billions of them and sent them all to like 5 or 6 Walmarts, so you ended up with 50,000 of these at each one. Really uncalled for, really bad character selection, and a completely unnecessary figure. Had I not gotten him at a deep discount, he would not be here. So, number 5, Tika. In the number 4 position, we have Kira. I'm sorry, this isn't Kira. We have random street urchin female. The appearance of this look for this character lasted, a few seconds? Maybe a couple minutes at the beginning of the movie, and that's the only time you see this appearance. Had they done one of the later looks, I would have argued against this figure so much less. But they chose this version. And because they chose a later in the movie look for Han, they do not pair well. You got one from the beginning, one from the end. Make up your damn minds. Secondly, sculpt-wise, this is not the Queen of Dragons. This is not Emilia Clarke. Whoever chose the look for this figure and whoever signed off on the sculpting for this figure should be publicly castrated. And that's why Qi'ra is sitting at the number 4 position on my list. In the number 3 spot, we have the world's worst traffic cone. Seriously, it's not bright. It doesn't stand out. There's no reflectivity. People are going to run over this traffic cone every time. Seriously speaking, though, Dark Rey from the Rise of Skywalker. First off, whoever signed off on this figure... No, scratch that. Take it back. Whoever signed off on the creation of the Rise of Skywalker... Scratch that. Take that back further. Whoever signed off on Disney doing the sequel trilogy needs to be publicly castrated. If we'd have gone all the way back there and stopped it, yeah, this atrocity would not have occurred. This is another case of on screen for 4 seconds, doesn't need a figure. Secondly, if you're going to make a Dark Rey, give her that dark face. Give her the one with the red eyes and the pointy teeth and the dark bags. Make her look like Dark Rey. Not, I'm Rey and I'm going to go to an evening formal event, so I'm going to black gown it. The folding lightsaber that's held together by the world's tiniest pin ever created. Look, y'all need to put down the crack pipes and get serious when it comes to figure design and figure selection. And that is why Dark Rey is at number 3 on my list. Coming in at the number 2 position this year, and I'm sure this one's going to... Yeah, I'm going to hear about this one. The Walgreens exclusive Clone Commander Broken Arm Kenobi. Yeah, QC is a major issue of mine. And when a figure comes and I try to take him out of the blister and his arm snaps off, there is a major issue. The pegs are so frozen, I've still not gotten this arm to articulate. And I'm afraid to even try at this point. Now, look at that. That is a fantastic figure. That should have been top 10 material. But come on. Unbelievable. I still haven't decided if I'm going to repair this, attempt to replace the arms, maybe use some newer clone arms. I don't know. Neither shoulder pad has the Jedi logo or the Republic logo, so I could probably get away with just using some generic updated arms. But this seriously should have been much better than it was. That is why this Kenobi resides in the trash can on my display, and why he's sitting at the number 2 spot on this year's biggest disappointments. Now, before I get on to the number 1 figure, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and leave some comments. Let me know how you feel about this list, if there's any you disagree with. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. All of that is free. Doesn't cost you nothing. And easy to do. It's easier than my ex-wife, and that's saying something. So let's move on to the number 1 pick. That's right. Coming in at number 1 for this year's biggest disappointments, or as I like to call it, the piece of shit list, we have L337 from Solo. Or as I like to affectionately refer to her, Karen Bot. The figure, no, scratch that, go back. The character design was pointless. This character bore nothing major in the story. You could have pulled her completely out of Solo, and nothing would have changed. Secondly, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I'm sure you've already heard me go on my tirade about brunette British self-insertions. Screw you, Kathleen Kennedy. You need to stop ruining all my childhood love. And then thirdly, this figure is just, it is, okay, I will say it is well sculpted. I mean, it looks like the character from the movie. The most annoying character ever created, but it looks like it nonetheless. Now, engineering wise, articulation, terrible. Paint, hit or miss. It's just a complete waste of a character space, of a figure space. It's just a waste, period. So that is why L337, or KarenBot, is in the number one spot in the absolute gutter, garbage Star Wars Black Series of 2023. So, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you sat here long enough to hear this special message. I love you all who take the time to come and watch my stuff. So, until next time, when we do the top 10 Star Wars Black Series of 2023. Big bacon. Yum.